Okay, say now if you can't see that. Right, I can't see any of you, so you will have to unmute yourselves. If you want to interrupt me for any reason, please go ahead. Right, okay, here we go. So I am logged in as a teacher. I'm using my teacher login or my teacher USO if you're from a London Griffith Learning School. And the reason why I know that is because I'm looking at, oh, sorry, somebody's trying to get in. I'm looking at teacher mode. And I know that because it says it here, and pupil mode looks like this. It's blue, and you can see that the screen looks slightly different. You can move between the two modes as long as you've got your teacher password. So you'll see that the differences are this area here and the bar along the top and these items here. Now, collectively, those are elements that will help you find content, configure content, and pull it out for the children to access easily. So that is the difference. When children log in with their pupil login, they don't see any of those three things. They don't see these, they don't see that, and they don't see these. So any changes that you make to busy things in teacher mode will be reflected in pupil mode. So that's the concept. Also, the concept is that you have a setup for your class. Now, when you first start using busy things, you have a setup. Sorry, somebody's struggling. Is anybody else having a problem seeing the screen? So Leanne, I would just suggest that you go out, come back in again, maybe I'll let you in. Okay, so this is what we call a setup. And when you first subscribe to Busy Things, you will get these by default. So we have made one, if you look, made by Busy Things, for every year group in primary. But what we want you to do to get the most out of Busy Things is to make your own setup. You do that in here, manage setups. Right, so manage setups. I'm going to go in the middle. I will create a setup for my Key Stage 1 class. LGFL users, you can't give your setup a username and password, I'm afraid. It's not possible with the USO logins, but schools that subscribe directly with Busy Things can do that. I don't know why I've chosen that, but there we go. It's asking me, do I want my default content settings for year 1 or year 2? It doesn't really matter which one you choose. If you have a mixed class, mixed year groups, it doesn't matter because you can customize the content later. And then you get the opportunity to choose an icon for your class and also a particular background and save. So you can see I have a setup now in the manage setups area. I will show it you in Key Stage 1. It's here. Okay. Now I don't really want these anymore because I've got my own and all the teachers should get their own. So the way to get rid of the default ones is to hide them. here, if you look. So now when I go into Key Stage 1, there's just my setup. And children can log directly into my setup from the Busy Things website using Green Dog and Green Dog. And they will log in then to pupil mode, not teacher mode. They will see this at the moment. Now, obviously, there's still a hell of a lot of content there. You don't want to be asking the pupils to drill down through these menus to find things that you've found. So I'm going to go back to teacher mode and show you ways of customizing your class setup. So when you create a class setup, it comes with a favorites area, a My Files area, and an assignments area. And any work that the children save will go into here. Any work that you assign will go into here. And any work that you favorite will go into here. And you can add and remove things to favorites and assignments freely. And I will be showing you how to do that. So step one is, how do I find things? So obviously you can just go into your setup and start clicking through these subject menus, but that's possibly a bit too time consuming. So, but it is, you can do it like this if you want to. So it's worth pointing out that in teacher mode, you get these filters here. And you can see obviously that I'm looking at multiplication and division activities, and that I have these different activity types, and I can filter what's on this screen by the activity type. So I have flashcards, I have labeling activities, I have printables, I have a widget, and I have games. So they maybe all speak for themselves except for widget. A widget is something that a teacher would use maybe at the front of the class to demonstrate a concept. So those are quite rare, but we have lots of games, lots of printables, lots of labeling activities, and lots of flashcards. Printables do not show up in pupil mode. So basically what you're looking for is everything in this drop-down menu. When you're in teacher mode, every single activity will have this blue drop-down menu, and always have a look what's up here. So that's one way of finding content, but I'm going to show you a better way, which is to use these two tools here. So we've got a straightforward traditional search tool. Now you can see that there's over 1,000 activities on Busy Things. So you need to get familiar with this search tool. Here are the activity types again. I can enter in a search term. So I did money earlier, and I start to see activities that have come up with money in them, and I can change that to I only want to see interactive worksheets and quizzes. So you start to be able to customize what's visible. I'll just point out, because there was someone who ticked SEND. So very recently we've added some activities that now support switch scanning, not Nintendo Switch, which is what somebody asked me the other day when I said switch. I mean switch scanning, where the children have to punch a switch to select hotspots in a game. So we have now 13 games that support switch access, and the way to find them is to just go in here and check those two boxes. I'll switch that off now. Okay, so this is one way of searching for content, and another way, probably the most popular way, is through the curriculum browser. So the curriculum browser looks at all the content on Busy Things by curriculum objective. So if I go into Key Stage 1, and let's go, we'll stick with maths, and we'll go to, well, I don't know, position, let's do this one. I can start to see by curriculum objective which activities we have linked to these. So again, I'm a year 2 teacher. I want to have a look at these and assign some of them. So not assign, sorry, pull out some of them. I don't want to use the term assign yet. So when you're looking at activities in the 2 search tools, you can go back and forth freely and you will come back here. So say I like the look of this one. I'm going to have a look at it in my setup. On the way in, I can see where it sits in the subject menu. I can get a quick brief description of what it is. I can see the curriculum links, and I can save out this activity with its curriculum links and a screenshot onto a PDF for record keeping, evidence-based record keeping. But if I go and actually have a look at the activity and have a play with it, and think, yes, that's great. When I come back, I'm still here. So the concept is you can go back and forth, and then when you find things that you like, you start using the options in here. So add to favorites. I want to add that to the favorites. That's actually not showing. Add to favorites. Mrs. Hall. The reason why this one didn't show up in Mrs. Hall is because it's set for early years. So I'm adding that one, and I am going to also create a shortcut for this activity. So you can do this with any game on Busy Things. I've just chosen one at random here. So if I want to send home at the moment a link to a specific activity, I can make a shortcut for it here. And that is what you email home. And as long as the pupil's got their login, they will just go to that activity. So that's quite useful at the moment. If you are wanting children to do things from home in the daytime, you can send them a link like that. The other thing you can do, obviously, is just add it to favorites, and you can also pin it to your home page. So I am going to find one that I can pin it into my setup. So I'm going to go here, create a new pin into Mrs. Hall Year 2. And I'm going to call it Wednesday Maths. Oops. So now when I go into my setup, I have made a pin here for Wednesday, and it's got that activity in it. And I also added something to the favorites. So that's another way of pulling out content. But obviously, if you just want the children to concentrate on what's in the pin or what's in favorites, then you need to start hiding large areas. And you can do that in teacher mode by visiting your setup, going up here to hide and show content. And I'm just going to be brutal and hide everything at the moment. When you hide everything, it just reveals your pin. So now when the children go to my setup, that is the only thing that they will see. There we are, I'm back in pupil mode. So they are stuck in here now. If you want to lock the children into a screen, you can do that with this padlock. As long as you've got your teacher password. You can see now there's no black back button here. So you could set this up before the children start, so that all they can do is work through a sequence of activities on one screen. I'm going to unlock that now. Go back to teacher mode. I'm just going to check this because otherwise I have to keep typing. It's useful to check that while you're playing around, so you don't have to keep putting your password in. So let's bring everything back. So hide show content, restore default, done. The other way you can, so we've had two ways of finding content. We've been pulling out content. We've used these tools, and remember, you use this button here to pin it to your home page, create a shortcut to send home, add to favorites. So those three are probably the most useful things to know at the moment. But also you can go into your setup, drill down to maybe an area that you're wanting the children to look at. Let's find a, so you were doing space, and very quickly you can change the landing page of your setup. So if you go to Mrs. Hall's settings, when you're inside your setup, you can see this box here is really useful. You can click landing page, use current page. So wherever you are at that point, if you go up to here and click use current page, that will become the new landing page of your setup. So now when the children go into your setup, they will land here and come back out to here. So that is just a very quick way of showing some content quickly. We're still in teacher mode, so we're seeing these filters, but in pupil mode, it looks like that. Okay, so I'm going to put that back to use setups home page. And that's brought everything back again. Okay. So I've just very quickly shown you three ways of pulling out content. The pins, the favorites, and the landing page. I'm going to show you now the My Assignments area. So to assign an activity, you need to come back out to teacher mode to the welcome screen and go into here. There's three types of activity that you can assign. The advantage of using assignments is that you can collate the results into one place. So every child that completes the assignment, the results will all be put past this button here. So let's assign a project. I am going to look for, well, let's assign a project for a topic, Egypt. And I am going to assign this one, Architecture of Ancient Egypt Start. I can edit this along the way if I want to. I can choose a template. I'm just going to choose pyramid and next. If I don't choose a template, then the children can choose their own. You can assign work in the future. So it will appear in your setups assignments area in the future when you actually want them to complete it. So you could get ahead of yourself. I don't want to do that right now because we won't see it. Let me close. So there it is. I've assigned this activity into my setup in the My Assignments area, and I've got no submissions. So I'm going to quickly go as if I'm a pupil. I can see there's a number 1 there. Let's switch to pupil mode. So I've logged in as a pupil. Remember, you could actually change this to the landing page so that the children just arrive at the assignments area. If you're on the London Grid for Learning, the children's name will be pulled in because they will have logged in with their USO. Schools subscribing directly with us, the children will currently need to type in their own name. That is changing soon. So projects are using what we call our Busy Paint and Publisher, and basically to create topic work. So here you can type and you can add labels and you can paint and draw. You obviously wouldn't do that with this one because this is a template that is looking for written content. But there's a vast range of projects. Some are just colouring, some are writing and drawing. You can make birthday cards, you can make Father's Day cards. Right, so when the child has finished, they will be asked to submit. And then when you go back, you need to be back in teacher mode. When you log in to teacher mode, you will see that we've had 1 submission here. And if I click results, I can see the children's work. And look at the teacher bar, you get your options here. These options are always changing, so just be aware of what's going on in there. But basically you can select everything and export it as a PDF. Quizzes, the same. If the children complete a quiz, they will get right and wrong, and you will be able to click on the crosses and see which questions they got wrong and export the results. And custom project is you can make your own project, so it could be about anything, anything that you want, and you get to choose so you can make it up if you want them to write down about you get to choose a template here. So we have lots of different writing templates here. The pen means drawing, so they'll get drawing tools, and the A means writing. So that's a fairly standard one. And again, it's just popped it into there. So now I have another assignment for the children to complete there. When you make your own assignment, you get the full range of tools with the Busy Publisher. So the children will get lots of clip art. They get the ability to import a photo or look at our photo banks. So they could spend quite a lot of time creating a piece of work to submit here. And clip art banks as well. Okay. You can also assign worksheets. These are worksheets here. Again, if you're in a teacher tool, you can go into these, have a look at them, use the search term, come back, and then decide whether to assign them. or use any of these options to pull the content out. Okay. So I'm now going to show you very quickly the resource maker, because this is a substantial area of Busy Things. Sorry, I've just got a question. We have the ability in the resource maker at the moment to make either phonics resources or maths resources. The phonics resources are behind these pink buttons and the maths resources are behind these orange buttons. Just take a quick look at these settings before you begin making resources, because what's set up in here affects everything behind here. So if I look in the phonics one, it's basically which phonics program are you using. We are thinking about adding read write ink, so I'd be interested to hear if any of you would like that. And you can choose the various letter styles that you want to appear. The same with maths. Choose letter number styles and other options there. So just have a quick look at those before you start. Okay, so let's have a look at phonics. These are the simpler worksheets. So we've got everything from flashcards to captions, and up here it gets pretty advanced. But I'm going to just create a missing letters worksheet now on the lower level. So when you're making worksheets, always work from the top down in this blue area. And step one is always, whether it's maths or phonics, to choose content. So I'm going to just show words containing ch and select all, click OK, and these have started to come in. Now I can choose the size, I can choose which phoneme is missing, I can have mixed, I can have outline, I can change the letter style. And once you're happy, you could save this worksheet or you can make a PDF. So if you save it, it will go into here, and these are available then for you to open up and export as a PDF as and when you're ready, or you can make a PDF straight away. Same with the maths. We've got some quite complicated ones. Choose content first, so we get quite advanced here, and we can show working out. That's the answer sheet, and then simpler ones down here, number bonds, number sentences, bubble diagrams. So have a good explore of the resource maker. It's very powerful, and it might be nice to send stuff home at the moment in PDF format for them to print out and do at home away from the screen. So finally, the last area that I mentioned that's unique to teacher mode is over here. And this is where we just alert you to things that are have either just been released or are coming up soon. So this is an announcement about these Zoom tutorials that we're running. This is an announcement about a PDF resource pack that we've put out to help you make your classroom safe. But it can be, if you look here, you'll get the history. So what did we do? The last sort of big batch of activities, I believe, were the Egyptian. Well, in February, we did all these art games where the children can create paintings quite quickly. We've got some flag resources that came out in February. So you can click along here, a Space Day pack, Ancient Egypt, and see what we've been up to. And again, these will link directly to the activities, so you don't have to spend time trying to dig stuff out. Up and coming events is a hot link into this area here, special events. So we've got London Maths Week next week. You can pin an entire event. So if you're looking in the events calendar and you see an event that you would just quickly like to pull out, you can pin an entire event here. And I'm just going to do that quickly. So now in my setup, I have a pin for London Maths Week that I can direct the children to. Okay, so I think I have done 30 minutes. I know that you're all very busy and I don't like to go on too long because you will get a video. And if anybody's got any questions, can they either unmute themselves and ask me or type it into the chat? No? Oh, well, that's good. Okay. Thanks, Katie. I'll send you all a link when this video has processed. It usually takes about half an hour or so. And then you can watch it at your leisure. I'm just reading my emails all the time. So if any of you do have any questions, please do feel free to just email me them. Even if it's, you know, just getting some login details. It doesn't have to be about how to do something. We are here to help all the time. So, okay. All right then. Thanks everybody. Bye.